Morning, everybody. This is Barbie with Bell's Palsy Talk. I'm so excited to be here today with my new friend Kim. We've been connecting offline and through Messenger, and we have so much in common. Kim, hey,
Hi.
how are you? I'm so excited to meet you. Well, I'm going to say in person, that this is as close as in person we'll get. Where are you again in the world?
I'm in California in the US, and I think you're in Canada?
Yeah, Canada, Vancouver, BC. Rainy here. But it's beautiful and it's not snow. I like the snow on the mountains. I like to leave it there.
Yeah.
But it's nice to finally meet you. We have so much in common. I know all the followers are going to really enjoy our talk today. So let's just dive right into it, because I know you and I can talk forever.
Yeah.
You've had a lot going on with your Bell's palsy. So Kim got Bell's palsy about 9.5 months ago. And in addition to a lot of mental health issues that she deals with, which we can chat a little bit about later, let's just pile Bell's palsy right on top of that. Hey. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit when you woke up, kind of, you were like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
It happened 9 months ago on the 7th of December. So it happened March 7th of this year. It was a normal day. Well, what I thought was a normal day.
Yeah.
I woke up. I've been trying to exercise more and, do all that healthy stuff that people do. So I had bought this door bike that I hadn't used very much because, sometimes I'm a lazy bum. So
yeah, all these things are a great idea. Yeah, to spend money on. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I decided I was going to go on this, little workout kick or whatever one morning and start exercising regularly. So I noticed when I woke up that my tongue felt kind of numb, but I didn't really think anything of it. It was a cold morning. I thought it was just something strange.
Yeah,
but
sure, whatever. Yeah.
to think off about. So I did my workout on the bike for like 30 minutes. I got off the bike maybe like 30 minutes or an hour later. Me and my husband were talking and he said something funny. So I went to laugh and all of a sudden my face got really tight and it felt like it wasn't moving.
Right.
Side. So,
which of course it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does my face look off? And he said, yeah, it looks droopy on one side and you're only smiling on the left side of your face. So obviously I rushed to the bathroom to look in the mirror to see what was going on. And lo and behold, my whole right side of my face was droopy. I noticed my tongue was even more numb. My eye wasn't blinking. And like most people that have facial paralysis, I thought I had a stroke. Like deathly afraid that I had a stroke. Luckily, I had a friend, not luckily for her, but in high school, my friend Itza, she had Bell's palsy. So I remembered that. And I sent her a DM on Instagram and asked her, what happened when you had Bell's palsy? And I let her know what was going on with me. And she said it was very similar, but she's obviously not a doctor. So she go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital. They made sure it wasn't a stroke, did a bunch of tests, and ended up telling me it was Bell's palsy. And that was March 7th, and it was probably the scariest thing I've ever been through. So.
And I just think, yes, and I think that for all of us, that first day, everybody that I've talked to on lives and offline, it's just the unknowing. Yeah. I feel like most of us that I've talked to, we're take charge people. I was the same. I know you were like this, that if somebody had told you, like, you need to do this, and then you'll be, no problem, sign me up. I will do it. I'm a take charge person, but there's no information. And like I talked to Jody from the Center of Facial Recovery, so she is a specialist. She's very passionate about bringing the education because of course you rush to the emergency room, there's something going on with your body, but those doctors are GPs and they know a little bit about everything and they're human. So of course they're going to spend their training on things that affect most people in our society, cancers and those kinds of things, which of course we understand. Yeah. But you're like, cool, I understand that, but now what? What do I do with this paralyzed face on top of everything else that I've been dealing with? So you've been focusing on your, you know, mental health, taking care. Now, recently you had an MRI. So you and I were kind of chatting about that offline. And I think our followers will really understand what we were joking around about. But why don't you just chat a bit about that?
I had a lot of, about 2 weeks after the onset of Bell's palsy, I had a lot of pain on the right side of my face. It was so painful. I thought that it felt like I got punched in the face a bunch of times, like all over the right paralysis side. So I went back to the emergency room thinking there was something additional wrong. They did a CT scan, and it came back normal. So flash forward, or fast forward, whatever. Fast forward to now.
I gotcha.
Yes, the day before Thanksgiving, I had an MRI done. The neurologist suggested I just get it done, just to make sure.
Sure. Yeah.
There's no tumor or cyst or anything in my brain. So I ended up having it done the day before Thanksgiving, and then yesterday I got the results. So the doctor called me. The results were normal, but I think because it took 2 weeks to get the results, you know, you build up all these stupid
of course.
And you worry, you're like, oh my God, I'm dying. And then you're like, then I think the hardest part is you want everything to be good, obviously, but on the other side of that, you want to know maybe there might be something wrong that is fixable, and then maybe they can fix my face. So I was like kind of stuck in this limbo land of wanting everything to be okay, but also kind of wanting them to find something, even small, just so my face can go back to normal. So when I got the results, I was happy, but part of me was a little bit upset that I couldn't find something to make me better. So here when it happened, when the doctor called me and I got off the phone, I thought I was fine, and then I got off the phone and I bawled like a baby.
Of course.
Cried. And he held me, thankfully. I have him here with me as support. And I moved on. It is what it is. Have synkinesis. I'm sure you can see my eyes a lot smaller when I smile. My smile's still crooked. But if I have a video like the day or maybe a week after the Bell's palsy onset, and if you see that video, it looks night and day. So I'm grateful that it's not the same as it was. Obviously, my way, it would be back to normal, but
yeah, of course.
Get what you want. I've learned that in life.
Yeah, well, yeah, no doubt. Hey, and that video, like I have one at the beginning too, and it is quite helpful. You know, at the time I was like, oh, I never want to relive this, you know, the first day, but it is quite helpful, hey, because you do look back and you're like, okay, I am making, there is changes. Now, when you and I kind of chatted offline, and I think our followers with Bell's palsy understand, and you and I were talking that, you know, I'm sure with people with different conditions or ailments or whatever we call this, feel the same, where I totally understand, where you were hoping that maybe there was something that's not super bad, but maybe more common, that they have something for, you know, to fix. But you know, unfortunately, in our rational mind knows, you know, that damage to the nerves is already done. And, you know, all we can do is rework them. But I totally understand. And I feel like you were like, I just got to get this out, like tell somebody who gets it. And that's why I love this community that we're all creating together, is that we get it. And you don't need to feel, you know, to somebody who hasn't gone through something like this. You know, of course, I have a lot of people in my life like that who haven't had this major kind of trauma go on. You know, and I do feel strongly that people who, you know, get the lucky Bell's palsy have also gone through other traumas in their life. I really strongly don't believe that this is the first thing that kind of happens. I think things build up, and then this comes on. So that's why I think in our community, people really do deeply understand this kind of trauma. It's not something where you know, God forbid, get hit by a bus or you're quadriplegic and all those awful things. It's in that middle kind of floating ground of, you know, it's not terminal. it's your face, it's what you present to the world. So am I supposed to be happy and grateful that it's not worse? Or, you know, so our community, we don't need to say that. And it's like anything in the world. It's like Weight Watchers or AA or anything. You know, you want to bring together the people that understand. You don't have to explain it to people.
Yeah.
And that's what I just love about it.
I'm so grateful. I don't even know how I found you. I don't know if you found me or I found you or whatever. The universe is working in a mysterious ways. Who knows? But I'm so grateful I found you. I've actually talked to on DMs in Instagram with a few people that follow you and follow me, and I follow them. All have Bell's palsy. There was one person that actually has Bell's palsy and bipolar disorder that, like me, that DM and wanted to, you know, relate with our experience, because it's not a common one. I'm not saying they're related or you have to have one or the other.
Yeah, sure. No, of course. But there's things that are correlated.
Yeah.
You and I have chatted about, right? So leading into that, well, first of all, that literally makes my week, because that is the idea for me behind this. I am so passionate about bringing people together and making people feel that they belong somewhere. And by doing that, that makes me feel important, and my voice matters, and then that I belong. So to me, finding my journey and figuring out what my purpose is and why Bell's palsy happened to me, that's helping me along my journey. And it just makes me so happy to hear things like that. Now, mental health is another thing that Kim and I chat about quite a bit. So obviously, Kim has bipolar disorder as of her handle on Instagram. Now, you blog and talk about that very much, which I love, because I also have low level bipolar and a little bit of manic and also ADHD. So, you know, I do talk about Bell's palsy obviously very much, but it is something that I'm newly coming to terms with all this mental health stuff I have going on, and the labels, and being able to feel like that there's not something really wrong with you. And I do love that you blog about it and you're so open about it. As with anything, you know, Bell's palsy is what I'm doing, but it's so fabulous that you're doing that. And mental health is such a big part of this thing that happened to us. You know, mental health sits there hiding, waiting for something to happen. And then some trauma happens and it's like, hello, like, here I am. I'm just going to just your, you know, your bipolar, your depression, or your anxiety, or your ADHD is just going to spring up because, you know, this trauma has kind of woken it up. Is that kind of something for you too?
What happened to me, I was actually working a full-time job when this happened, and I continued to work for some time, but I honestly fell into a very deep depression, which I don't know if it's necessarily related to my bipolar disorder. It might be more intense because of it, but I think when you're dealing with something that's physical, that's draining physically, every time you look in the mirror, you see it.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to have an impact on your mental health for anyone, whether you have a mental health issue, disorder, or nothing at all. It's going to affect you. And I ended up leaving that job because I literally was so depressed and so consumed with the Bell's palsy that I couldn't continue to work. My eye, see it waters constantly, so I sat at a computer for and it was really hard for me to focus, one, because I was, you know, consumed with the depression, dealing with the Bell's palsy, and two, because I physically couldn't see the computer. Yeah. It's I'm doing better emotionally now, but it takes time. Like with anything that you deal with, any ailment or physical or mental, whatever, it takes time to cope with it and to learn coping skills and learn things to do to make yourself feel better. So obviously I'm not 100% okay all the time. I'm a human being, But for the most part, I have a positive outlook as far as what's going on with me. I don't think I'll be, hi Dolly.
Hi Dolly.
I don't think, even if it doesn't go away, I know in my heart, I know I will be okay. I have a huge support system, both like online, my family, my husband, my 3 dogs. I have people around me, you know, that support me. And sorry, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah, I do a lot on these,
yeah.
don't worry.
I just feel like there's more to life than my physical appearance.
Yeah.
Of course it sucks. Of course I don't want this to be the case, but there's so many good things about me, about us, that transcend what you look like, that transcend physical attributes. So I try to focus on those things, the things that I love about myself. And I like my crooked smile cut. It's like quirky. So yeah. It's like, I don't know. I'm just trying to make it so I live with it and be okay with it, even if it doesn't come back completely. So I don't know. That's all.
That's that. Yeah. And you know what, I'm the same way. I do think that, and this is just my view, that this happened to us for a reason, and that lesson needs to be projected outwardly. Like, we have an obligation and a mission to be speaking about self-care, and self-care in the deepest way, meaning using your own voice. And I don't mean going to the spa or sticking up for yourself in an argument. I mean deep valuing who you are and knowing what you bring to the table, and knowing that just because you have a mental health disorder or you're missing your pinky finger or whatever it is, that you're valuable and important, like really important. And that's my work that I'm doing right now, because outwardly, you know, it may not seem like that. You know, I'm chatty and talk on Instagram, and I think that a lot of people are like that. And then but yeah, you're not inside. And that's, you know, that's the work that comes with mental health and ADHD and all those things, that we are important, and our voice is important. And that's why I am so passionate about chatting with people. And, you know, if it makes a difference to someone today, then that's all that matters. Because honestly, like you said, we only get one life, and some days are better than others. And yes, of course, you can wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I'm so grateful that that it's just my face. And, you know, it's not, you know, something worse, but it's okay some days to be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
This really sucks about my face. And just to kind of absorb that.
Yeah.
With mental health, that is a very important thing, is to address your feelings, not push them down, because it just makes it
definitely
worse and worse and worse and worse, right?
Like, sometimes I feel like that may have been the biggest lesson that I had to learn through all of this, is that stuffing my emotions, which I did many years, even though I was blogging, there were, you know, things that I would just pretend that I was okay when I wasn't. So like when I cried with my husband the other day after the MRI results, or yesterday, I may not have done that a year ago. I may have gone upstairs and cried by myself. So for me, this, if I get anything out of this, is that it's okay to have those moments of not weakness, but feeling. It's okay to have those moments. It's okay to feel. But for me, it's also okay to bring myself out of that and learn other ways to express those feelings when I'm ready to let go. So.
And that is an interesting point, because it's interesting for me. Like, first of all, of course, it's our natural tendency to be like, I'm fine. But then it's also very interesting how you said that it's okay to be fine. Like, that sometimes it seems like it's more comforting to us to just hold it in. And that's ego speaking. Like let's just hold that in, and it's safer than being vulnerable or that might make it worse, or it might like make it more real. And we just kind of suck it up and go. So that, you know, my next question to you was going to be some, you know, what do you recommend for self-care? But that is something that hits it right on the head. Like, you're important. And there's something else that I read on an article that someone wrote the other day, and I wish I remember what his name was. And it was on Unfixed Media, which I love, because they talk about, you know, people with, you know, Crohn's disease and Lou Gehrig's disease and all these things. And he was saying that it's important in life to give someone else the chance to help you.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with me, because they want to help you and you're not being fair by not letting them. And I thought, wow, that really hit me, you know, me on the head, because guess what? It's not just about us. It's also about your husband, who wants to help you and wants to be there for you and just doesn't know how all the time. And that was really kind of an interesting point to me, because that is such a huge self-care thing. Like you're just saying,
just
it's okay, right?
Listening, you know what I mean? See, sometimes he doesn't, you know what to say to help me, and sometimes, hey, sometimes I just want to express myself and say what's going on, even if he's just listening. That's helping me right there.
Well, and self-care for yourself is like understanding that and saying it out loud, like, hey, I'm just going to ramble on in my ADHD mind, and I don't want you to say anything, and I don't need advice, and I just need you to hug me. Like that, and I'm sure he's the same as my husband. He's like, great, no problem, I can do that. They just want to know. Right? Yeah. Or also owning your voice enough to say, well, I said that's what I wanted 10 minutes ago, but now I've changed my mind. Is it okay that we do this? And my husband's like, yeah, no problem. Like, they just want to know.
Yeah.
And like, you know, stumble through it together, right?
So, because a lot of time in my past, you know, I didn't say what I needed. No one is a mind reader. So just expressing, you know, if you want someone to give you advice, or if you want them to just listen, just expressing those needs, because he can't read my mind. So so that's extremely important.
Well, and to me too, like during my years, and also if it changes, like not even minute to minute, but year to year. Like last year, if I said, oh, you know what, Kim, I just need more friends who listen. And then this year it's like, hey, you know what, like, I'm going to pass that. That's okay. We're allowed to change our minds. We're allowed to change our needs. And the self-care part is saying it, but I find a lot in my life, I don't even know what I need, or I don't know what my opinion is. And that's really frustrating for me too. And I'm trying to learn that as well. Like, you know, it's all well and fine. Okay, cool, Barbie. Like, we're learning how to use our voice, and we're learning how to, you know, feel like we belong and all that. Great. Fantastic. Now what? Right? Yeah. Like, what is your opinion? Or, you know, today I feel like fighting for it, and then tomorrow I'm just like, oh, it's okay. It's not worth it. You know, that was my ego yesterday. Well, it's exhausting. So I think that giving ourselves a break too, being around.
I like to read, and I didn't like to read after college for years.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done. That's it.
Like, I can't read else for 20 years. So I've been reading a lot. So I read like self-help, self-development books, and then I read books on bipolar disorder as well. So Julie A. Fast is a really good writer for mental health topics, especially bipolar disorder, because she has bipolar as well. She's on Instagram, and she has really great books. And then right now I'm reading Dr. Wayne Dyer's book.
Yeah, I love. Yeah.
I'm on like chapter 5, I think. That one.
They take a while to read, right? Like, you got to really absorb, like, every word is valuable. Yeah.
On purpose, because it's so much information. A lot of the stuff is concepts that I've never heard of before. So I want to make sure I'm digesting information, not just like speed reading through. So I stop and think about it and do whatever I do in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Do whatever happens in there. Not really sure all the time.
Yeah.
Now
Work by Dr. Nicole LePera. That's another really good one too. So
okay, I will get you to message me when we're off here. Those, I think you said 3 books that you're reading right now. Why don't you message those to me, because I know our readers will want to look into those.
Sure.
I mean, Wayne Dyer is amazing through anything that you're going through in your life. I mean, fast, like it like applies to anything. So I would love for you to send me that information. Sure. And I will post, of course, the link to Kim's blog in the comments. We've been chatting for a long time, and I could talk to Kim for hours. I mean, we chat offline all the time. But thank you so much for joining us today. I am so passionate and excited to have found people in our community that I feel like I'm best friends with. And I've never even met you or done more than chat. Like, it's just so supportive to me that I can reach out, and it's the first time that I've even said in a public forum that I'm dealing with ADHD that's laid on, like, and I feel more comfortable telling you guys. Yeah. So that to me is something that I'm just so excited about. Yeah. And thank you so much to everybody who's joined us, and thank you so much to everybody for building this community together, because that's what it is. We're in this together, right?
Thanks, Barbie.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Kim. We'll be in touch, and I'll talk to you soon.